In the rolling hills of Bethlehem, a young shepherd named David watched over his father's flock. He was small, the youngest of his brothers, but in his heart burned a courage the world could not see. One day, the prophet Samuel came to Bethlehem. One by one, David's brothers stood tall before him, broad shoulders, strong arms, the kind of men you expect to be chosen as kings. But God does not see as man sees. God looks at the heart. And so the oil was poured not on the eldest, but on David, the shepherd boy. Soon David's life would change. King Saul, tormented by restless spirits, called upon him to play the harp. And when David's fingers touched the strings, the king's troubled heart found peace. But peace did not last. On the battlefield a giant rose, Goliath of Gath. He towered over men like a mountain of iron, his voice thundering with defiance. Israel's soldiers trembled, but David stepped forward. No sword, no shield, only a sling, a stone, and unshakable faith.
You come with sword and spear, but I come in the name of the Lord.
The stone flew, the giant fell, and with that victory David's name spread across the land. Yet with fame came jealousy. Saul, once soothed by David's harp, now burned with envy. He hurled spears, sent armies, hunted him through wilderness and caves. Still, when David found Saul helpless before him, he spared his life, not once but twice, mercy over vengeance. In those years, God's hand protected David. When pride nearly led him to bloodshed against a foolish man, it was the wisdom of Abigail, a woman of grace and courage, that turned his anger away. She would later become his wife. At last, Saul's reign ended in tragedy, and David was crowned king. He captured Jerusalem, made it his capital, and brought the Ark of the Covenant into the city with dancing and rejoicing. A shepherd had become a king, but even kings stumble. From the rooftop, David saw Bathsheba, and temptation led him into sin. He took another man's wife and had her husband killed. When the prophet Nathan confronted him, David fell to his knees in repentance. He was forgiven, but the scars of his sin remained. Tragedy struck his household. His son Amnon's cruelty, Absalom's rebellion, betrayal from his own blood. War tore through his family, and David's cries echoed in the night.
O Absalom, my son, would God I had died for thee?
Still, through triumph and failure, through faith and repentance, David remained a man after God's own heart. He reigned for 40 years, and as his final breath drew near, he charged his son Solomon, "Walk in the ways of the Lord." David's story is not one of perfection, but of grace. A shepherd who became a king, a sinner who found mercy. And from his line came the everlasting promise, a kingdom without end.